never know the delay when it starts and stuff like that. So I'll just gonna show off my lovely cup of tea there for a minute for those that get to see this bit. It will just begin shortly, the stream, and then I'll do the introductions and we'll take it from there. Let me just refresh the page. And no, not yet. Oh, come on. Oh, something's happening. Okay, there's an advert on my own stream. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's just skip this, shall we? We're nearly a minute in already. There we go. So hello, my name's Rob. This is Cat Rabbit Scale Model Studios, and in this video today we're going to be looking at some Adeptus Custodes, kindly sent to me by JoyToy. Obviously, I do a lot for JoyToy. I think they are a great product. I like what they do. I like that they have your favourite guy faction that you're able to have on top of the tabletop. I do. I think they're a wonderful product, and their range is becoming so broad these days that, you know, there aren't many factions out there where you can't, you know, have something that you go, oh, do you know what, I love this faction, and have it on, sitting on your desk. And, you know, those that I've seen loads of times. I have Castellan Crow just behind me. He sits on my little desk up there with a McFarlane unpainted Dark Angels Marine guy. Love them. I think they're great. But today we are going to be looking at these. These are Adeptus Custodes. These are the there's a few I've got here. There's like a Custodian guard, there's a shield captain, we've got a Praetor, we've got another guard and another guard. So I thought we'd have a look at them. I always think that I forget to say stuff when I unbox the JoyToy stuff. I like it because, you know, if someone ever really wants to buy this stuff, I think they're a great video to kind of like legacy have on your channel. So I really like doing them, and I've always been a sucker for action figures. And obviously JoyToy, Warhammer, come on, it's win-win. So I thought we would just have a look at them today. If you're watching from the future, hi, how are you? Hope you're well. If you do have any questions at any point, just in the chat, just yell stop or whatever, or just fire away with them and I'll do my best to answer them. If you don't know what JoyToy is, fire away, I'll do my best to answer them. Or if you just want to have a look at a certain part of any of the figures, I've got 5 figures to unbox here today. Just in the chat, just fire away. If not, I'm just going to do my thing and we'll take it from there. Don't forget, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you very much. Really helps me out. Right, that's enough of that. JoyToy, Adeptus Custodes. So this is the shield captain with Guardian Spear. I've never painted a custode and I've always wanted to. So getting these was really cool because I could have a bit more of a look at them. I have already looked at these previously just to make sure everything's not missing or anything like that. One thing I do like is more and more they're coming with these little stands that you can put them on. Obviously it helps you kind of like stabilize the model when it's in certain poses. So it's just got that little push pin in the back. I really like that. Some of the earlier stuff didn't have that. Definitely very cool. Sometimes it might look like they're a little bit samey. Yes, sometimes you do get like Space Marines tend to be the main culprit because they come with a bolter and some hands and stuff like that, and there's not much more to them. But one thing that I do always really appreciate is just how well JoyToy replicate the models on a 1-to-1 kind of scale. So there's the little stand. Obviously I'm not going to open these up. I do tend to give this stuff away on Patreon, so if you are interested, I try and do giveaways on the basis of that I can make delivery costs. Lately it's been a little bit thin on the ground. That's fine. It just means that the giveaways have to be postponed until enough accumulates in the bank, until we can pay delivery charges. I earn absolutely nothing out of Patreon, and I do try and give this stuff away for people. You'll find links to my Patreon in the bio thing, about section, whatever it is. So yeah, so first thing you kind of notice, and I do have a trusty pot of hot water. I'm so sorry, that's a horrid noise. If I was more organized, I probably would have unboxed all these straight away. So this is how they tend to come. Obviously we've got a head off there. Don't worry, that it's fairly regular with JoyToy stuff. All you got to do, and I have got one here ready for stuff like this. That's a cup of really hot water. And all I do is I'm just going to pop it in there just for a couple of seconds, and it's got this little ball pin joint there. And my God, it's just started thundering outside. And all we do is we just push it on there like that, and it heads on. A lot of these joints are, because it's UPVC, it's a really soft plastic, so you can kind of bend these. It never really goes out of shape. So if we just look at the figure itself here, again, you know, as I just said, the detail and the way they replicate Warhammer figures is constantly outstanding. You know, these are really, really posable figures, you know, all like the little bits of armor. It's all there. It will all be on the miniatures. They do a fantastic job, one-to-one, of replicating these. The cape, absolutely lovely. You know, it's the detail that you come to expect from JoyToy, or I do. You know, I've handled their products quite a bit now. You know, and I'm not worried about saying when things maybe could be a little bit better. I generally like what they do. I think their paint jobs are pretty good, pretty solid each time. You can kind of see just here, you've got a little bit of the silver edge highlighting. So that's our guy. He does come with a choice of hands, so you can have him pointing, you can have, you know, clench fist, one slightly open, and then we'll just look at his spear, the way this goes together. I think we just kind of pop that in there like that. And we've got the Guardian Spear, which is pretty damn cool. I always enjoy seeing this stuff on a bigger scale because you kind of appreciate the design of this weapon. So I always think it's quite cool seeing these, and they always do a very stellar job. Dark Angel and White Consul's figure. The White Consul one is really good, JG44. I've actually got some Deathwing stuff. I've got some Knights and some Terminators that I haven't done the unboxing yet. Funny enough, I got a bit of a delivery off JoyToy the other day, and they sent me a ton of stuff, you know, super cool, and I got some Deathwing stuff. The thing is with JoyToy is I never know what they're going to send me. I have said a few times before, look, I know a lot about Imperial Fists, I know about Dark Angels, I don't know about, you know, a great multitude of different factions. You know, you don't send me loads of stuff. And they always send me like a squad of 5 of something that I've never had any experience with. So very, very kind of them, and I will say nicer problems to have. But I do have to do a little bit of homework on them. So yeah, it's always a little bit, you never know what you're going to get with these guys. So it's always a bit of a potluck when they do target and send stuff out. But yeah, love it. There's a little bit of paint marking there. I don't know whether that's part of the painting process. It kind of comes off if you scratch it, so it might just be a bit of excess burr. I'm not sure about the handle, which is a little bit of a shame, don't get me wrong. It's not the end of the world. We can also see here, and I do always like to point this out, because JoyToy, you know, they do have a price tag with them, and I would consider them a luxury item, so I do kind of I always hold them to a bit of a higher standard. You can see the overlining there, just on that trim. Stuff like that is minor, don't get me wrong, and it might seem that I'm being really petty with stuff like this, but as someone that is unboxing something and trying to remain unbiased, I can't just say something's good all the time because it was sent to me. I do like to point this stuff out, so just be aware sometimes that there is that issue. You can actually see it a little bit more just on the edge of the Falcon. I'll point it out on this one. I won't bother pointing it out on some of the other ones unless it's really, really major, but just be aware sometimes, you know, if you've got one of these, don't get me wrong, it would make a great paint project if you like that sort of thing. However, I do, what I say, I held them to a very high standard, JoyToy, because they make a very high standard of product, and I do think for the price tag that you do is out the box, it should be immaculate. So just a few bits to be aware there of. So I am just going to pop this guy back in the box there, and I will try and kind of like err on the side of, I try not to make this too long of a video, but I really, really like how these look. I think the red and gold goes really, really well together. I've said I've always been a bit of a, I like the look of the Custodes. I think they've got great, obviously lately, bad rules and now controversy. There's a little bit of burr on the back of that coat. Yeah, that just comes off anyway, so that's fine. Or does it? It seems like we've got a little bit of excess print there, like a seam line just as it's quite raised up. I don't know whether you can see that just on the edge there of that arrow, which is a shame. Once again, not the end of the world, and it's probably corrected with just like a sharp hobby knife. Oh, look, you know, I've kind of got some of it off already. There we go. It's just part of the demolding process. Hasn't come away. You can see it on the end of my blade there, and it's no longer there. But there we go. That's the first guy. I know, you know, the whole you don't really want to dance around it, but the whole female custode thing, I'm gonna be completely honest with people. I couldn't give two fucks, if I'm honest. It doesn't bother me one iota if they change the law, retcon the law. I think to stay in a point where the world is changing, to stay in your old kind of ways and your old law when things are moving forward seems a little bit pointless. Much like corporations and businesses, you need to change, you need to evolve to progress, otherwise your competitors tend to overtake you. So you know, it doesn't bother me. That's my official stance on it. Great. If someone can sit there and be like, that's my hero, and it be a female space marine or a female custo or whatever, it generally doesn't bother me at all in the slightest. That's all I'm really going to say on it. But, you know, we're going to do this guy next. He is very similar. Now, the reason why I'm going to do this guy next is he's not the captain, but he does have the spear. And as you can see here, he is kind of basic compared to what we've just had. So if we actually just throw this guy over and have a quick look, again, we've got the cool stand, big win. And aside from the lack of a cape, this guy is very identical. The spear goes together in two halves. However, it's not the same. The handle is the same, but the top half isn't. It's got a different little dangly key bit. I always like that they do that. It's a nice touch. Again, there's a little bit of overspray on the item itself, but it goes together nice and snug. I won't push it all the way in. This is a bit more of a rigid plastic, so it's definitely a little bit harder. Here we've got that kind of bunched up paint again, just here, which is a slightly bit disappointing to see. You know, again, it can be removed fairly easily. However, you know, not the end of the world. But there we go. Nice detail. The hands I'm not going to go into, but we do have point in, clench fist and open. And looking at the guy himself, there he is. He's pointing. He's just like, that's good. Very similar to the last guy. Obviously, he doesn't have the robe. Once again, the paint job, the detail. We've got that lovely kind of silver blemish look that you see on a lot of the miniatures that are painted. It's really apparent, like down here, you can see it quite well in the camera. It's got that nice kind of like edge highlighting, which is, you know, again, it's nice. Not much to this one. This is something that I have always had a ever so slight problem with, is that it doesn't see. I would prefer JoyToy to do a squad of 3 as opposed to a squad of 5, because I do find you get a couple of miniatures that just for me maybe could be in a double pack together, just to bulk out the numbers if you wanted. I don't believe that this warrants, you know, just have the other model with the cape removable. Job done. So there's a few, like, you know, when it design choices of it that I do kind of think maybe, you know, there's probably a reason why it's done this way, don't get me wrong. However, that's just like maybe I would like to see. I pointed this out in my Saint Celestine video. I did say that like the Gemini Superior, it was just a different head on, and you know, it seems not quite worthy of 2 separate releases. I would have rather them come in a pack together and just be a little bit extra. You know, it didn't need to be 2 separate releases. But, you know, your favourite might be the guy without the cape and the squad, and there he is. And that's one thing, again, I really like about JoyToy and what they do. So, Moving on to the next one. Let's do this guy. He is the Custodian Guard. Now he's got the Sentinel blade, and I'm not even going to try and say that, Presidium shield. Very cool. This is good because it's different enough to, you know, be quite noticeable. If you glimpse the last two together, you'd be kind of fret to spot a difference. But with this one, it's a lot more noticeable, which is pretty, you know, what I expect, if you will, from, you know, JoyToy. You can see here straight away, like, just how nice. And I love how they do their shields and their banners. And we've got a Praetor, which I'll do next. But if we just pop him open, obviously we've got the guy here. He's got the cool straps, and, you know, again, nice. Not much to him. Obviously he doesn't have the fancy red lining on his. A choice of hands, again, clenched, open or point in, both hands, obviously for their weapons and stuff like that. The detail, again, really, really lovely. You can see we've got the nice highlight fade. I can't see too many blemishes or oversprayed with this guy, which is really, really nice. He's pretty up there with what you expect. There's a little bit around the eye there, but nothing that's too noticeable. I always check like little key spots, things like these little gems. You can see just there where the gem color hasn't gone all the way to the base, which is, you know, it might seem nitpicky, but it's worth pointing out to people that are going to invest in these types of things. But there's his Sentinel blade. I mean, look at that. They've got the lovely kind of like ethereal blue like shine on it, which I think is great. They do that type of stuff really, really well, and it's just so accurate. It's great. You know, it's got like the bolter in it, you know, with the case. It's really, really cool, really well done. One thing, you know, they do their accessories really good. So that's the Sentinel blade. And then just looking at the shield, which is, I love these bits that they do, all the way from like the little power nodes and things like that to the top of the eagle. It's absolutely lush. Like, that is good. That's kind of like what I expect from JoyToy every single time. And one thing I will say again, just how well they one-to-one sculpt these. Like, that is really lovely. So there we go. That is our Sentinel blade wielder there, and our nice shield. Ooh, I forgot to put that one in there. I'll put that to one side. And we'll just slide him back in the box. So next we have got the Praetor, the Vexilus Praetor. Again, he comes with a shield, very nice, and he's got the very cool standard bearer, which is great. These ones are always really, really impressive. I always think the banner bearers, they do exceedingly well. I'm just looking out the window, and my God, it is thundering. It is hammering down with rain, so I'm sorry if it is a little bit loud. It should be okay. So let's have a look at this. I think going forward, I probably, unless there's like a really, really big model, like a certain Primarch that's sitting next to me, I think definitely I'm going to do the live unboxings from now on. I think they're a lot easier to do. People can ask questions, fire away and stuff like that. So it is a lot easier to kind of manage, unless they are the kind of super fancy models. So there's our guy. Again, he's got the all gold shoulder pads. Choice of hands, as we've said, clench fist, point in, or open. We've got the nice detail. There doesn't seem to be, again, overspray or anything like that. Everything seems to be quite nicely done, which is once again what I expect from JoyToy. If I was going to buy or had a faction that I really loved and I was in the market for one of these, I would always go for the banner bearers because I think they look really, really cool. So the shield, we've literally just seen that there is no different. It's got the nice detail, you know, there's not much point kind of like going and over hashing this again. Very, very cool. Love it. And then the actual banner itself is great. Look at that. They always do these so, so well. If you wanted these to hang down a little bit more, you can just pop them in a little bit of boiling water and they will eventually hang over time as they are UPVC. You can kind of bend a lot of this. And obviously it just goes into his little stick just there. I do believe it goes, yeah, this way. And it just pushes in. And there we go. There it is. That's the Praetor's banner. Really lovely, well done. Again, this is what they do so well, JoyToy, and I think this is what has kind of puts them apart from a lot of other like toy manufacturers and stuff like that do Warhammer stuff. Because when they get it right, they get it so right, and this is a great example of really, really good JoyToy figure. This is definitely one that I would like out on my shelf. If I had room, I would have this guy out. Like I said, banners all the way. I think they're absolutely fantastic. So we'll just pop him back in. Again, really like that one. He is a cool guy. I think my favourite so far, actually. We'll just throw him back in there. And then we'll move on to the captain. Which when I first looked at these, I thought that he was probably one of the weaker of the two. The only thing I do like about this guy is he comes with a separate head option, which is something that sometimes they do. I do wish they would do helmetless ones a little bit more. But as a captain, obviously, you do have a choice with him. So he does come with a Sentinel blade, and he does have a rather fancy dagger, I'm not going to lie. He also, obviously, he has the hands. Again, I'm not going to go into it. Choice of hands. So we'll kind of just grab him out. There he is with his helmeted option. No fancy cloak for this guy. Oh, no, no, no. Let's just bend these hands around just so they look a bit more together. So there we go. There he is. Just as he is on, obviously, like on the model thing. If you don't believe me, get them up and, you know, side-by-side comparison. You'll find it quite hard to kind of spot the difference with these guys. There's not much overspray. We've got the nice silver detail on this one. There doesn't seem to be too many blemishes or kind of paint oversprays, which is lovely. A little bit on the jewel up here. Other than that, it's pretty good. I think always check the face, always check the eyes as well. Always check your eyes. So there we go. And then as for the head, now I said I thought for a while with the Blood Angels Terminators, the head's kind of dipped a little bit in quality, in my opinion. Like this, not quality, the paint job. Whereas this one seems to be back up there. It's kind of got like a good tone. The eyes have got that like lovely ethereal blue colour. And it is just nicely done. You can swap the heads really, really easily. You just pop them off. And then a little bit of boiling water. Just pop the end in and just change it over. If we just kind of I'll pop his head off now, just to show you. Just in the drink, just for 4 or 5 seconds. In actual fact, there's a lot of detail that you don't see behind the head there, which is really, really nice to kind of see. And obviously the head just pops in. There we go. So there is our guy. Now you'll notice that here he's got this little kind of divot on one of his side plates. This is for, I believe, this. So what you can actually do, you've kind of got this cool little mechanism in here that spins round. So what you can actually do is just push that in there. I might need to boiling water that one as well. So let's just soak that for 2 seconds just to warm up. And it's just a case of pushing that in. There, that's quite tight. Wow, okay. So I wonder, let's push it against something. Now, I have been known to break bits here and there. Now, I don't think this is the case with this. Oh, there we go. It's in. So you can kind of have him, this guy's got like the extra bit, so you can kind of have him like, you know, with his hand on his blade and that. So this guy's a little bit more poseable, a little bit more epic. There's a tiny little bit of overspray on some of the stuff, but, you know, once again, not the end of the world, but a very cool figure. Obviously, there is nothing on this side, so he is only one-sided on his blade, so it always has to be on his left side. But you could probably get some very cool poses out of this guy. The only thing, obviously, to avoid making the video really long is I'm not going to go through, pose them all and go, hey, look at this. You know what? Use your imagination. It's fine. But there he is. That is the shield captain. Sentinel, Custodian guard with Sentinel blade. Do beg your pardon. Obviously, he's got a bit more variety, which is quite cool. I also really, really like this guy. I think if I was going to pick two, I would probably go for the Praetor, and I would definitely go for this guy. The other nice thing about this is it's an actual sheath. How cool is that? Look at that. So you can actually pull it out. So he could be drawing the blade. You know, again, you could get this guy in some very, very cool poses. So there we go. That is our guy. I'm just going to pop his other head back on. So he's going to go just in there. We'll just kind of push that back on. Again, that's the detail that you don't see behind the head. Very cool. I'll pop this one back on. The only thing I will say about this is this one here is a great example because that hole is very tight. Stuff like this happens. So, you know, just be careful. I think it might actually be easier. That goes on really, really nice and easy, is to kind of push this in on your own and then attach the blade to it that way, as that kind of moves in quite easily. So there we go. That is the last guy. Again, I'll just show you the Sentinel blade really, really quickly. It's lush. Again, they do these blades so, so well. And the paint job on this one, really, really cool. I always like their little keychains. I always think that's really, really cute that they put their little keychains and stuff like that on their weapons. It's almost like the little like candy cane I've got on my house keys that my kids got me from Brighton. They're just like, oh, I went to holiday to Bournemouth and I got a little gold eagle and I put it on my sword. So I always think that's quite cute. But there we go. That is the Custodes. I like them. I think this is a good set. I do think that some of the generic models, again, I'd like to see them in maybe a double pack with a spear and a sword. I don't mind this guy because he's different enough. He's got the head swap. He's got the cool little like side blade. But the other ones I'd like to see maybe in, I don't know, like a multi-pack. I've never really known JoyToy to do multi-packs and stuff like that. It's a shame because I think, you know, just buy them as a double would be kind of cool. But there we go. That is the Adeptus Custodes JoyToy figures. These are a 1/18 scale. They are very cool. Again, they are a bit of a luxury item. So, you know, that's why I do kind of scrutinize them a little bit more than, I guess, your average toy or figure, if you will. But I do definitely think that they should be, because they are a high-end luxury item. So there we go. Adeptus Custodes. I like them. I like JoyToy. I like what they do, and when they do it well. And it's evident that, you know, they've done it really, really well on these guys. I think it's just personal preference, and I'm just going to say that, is that I don't always feel that some of them maybe warrant a standalone release, much like, you know, I've been saying about. But that's neither here nor there. If you like this item and, you know, you feel it's worth it, then it's worth it. You know, don't absolutely, You know, I once said that on a JoyToy Facebook group, and they went absolutely mental at me because they were like, "You can't say that," and it was like, yeah, but it's kind of the truth, isn't it? Just that nobody else really wants to address it, which was a shame. But yeah, I like it. I like the shields. I like, you know, the Praetor is probably my favourite. And yeah, there we go. I will be doing some more of these. They said JoyToy have just sent me an absolute ton of stuff. I was kind of like there with it, and I was like, these are my last guys. I'm going to do them this week. It's nice to have these, break it up with the toy reviews. As I always say, this is Cat Rabbit Scale Model Studio, not Warhammer Studio. So I do like to do just stuff that is kind of scale model related. And obviously I do consider these scale models. They are 1/18 scale. Therefore they are a scale model. So I kind of get away with it that way. Plus action figures are fucking cool, and I won't be told otherwise. So there we go. That is it. I hope that has helped. If you're watching from the future, thanks again for joining us. If you're in the chat, thanks again for watching. I do hope you have enjoyed this. That is it though for me in this one. This weekend I attended Salou. There is going to be a video this weekend of my thoughts on it. It's weird. It's a weird place, and I drink a hell of a lot of Guinness. So there we go. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to say ta-ta, goodbye. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hopefully it should be business as usual. For the studio now, as I'm back at my painting desk, and I've completed Dragon's Dogma 2. So there we go. Yes, thanks for everyone that kind of did join us. And there we go. If you do have any questions and you're watching from later, pop them in the chat and I will do my best to answer them down the line. I will pop a little community article of them. Once again, I like them. I like action figures. So there we go. That's it from me. I will see you all next time. God bless. Take care. And thanks for watching.